This is the moment you've been waiting for. The question that's been burning in the minds of boxing fans across the world: can Terence Crawford truly hurt Canelo Alvarez? You didn't just stumble upon this video by accident. You clicked on it because you need an answer, and you're about to get it straight from someone who knows better than anyone else: Amir Khan, the only fighter to have shared the ring with both of these warriors. But before we get to the final verdict, let's go deep into the truth, the raw experience, the punches that changed everything. Stay with me till the end, because what you're about to hear will challenge everything you thought you knew about power, precision, and what it really takes to bring down a legend. Amir Khan has lived through what very few can ever claim. He has felt the snap of Terence Crawford's fists, the deceptive power behind every punch, and he has stood across the ring from the beast that is Canelo Alvarez, a man whose knockout power is the stuff of nightmares. Imagine stepping into the ring, knowing that one mistake, one miscalculation, and the lights go out before you even hit the canvas. That was the reality Khan faced in 2016 when he dared to step up to middleweight to take on the Mexican superstar. The fight started like a dream. Khan was electric, his speed unmatched, landing punches that had Canelo second-guessing. The world watched in awe as he moved in and out, making the bigger man miss. For a moment, just a moment, it looked like he might actually pull off the impossible. But then, the inevitable happened. Canelo, patient like a predator, waiting for his moment, struck with a single earth-shattering right hand that sent Khan crashing into the canvas in a way that made even the most hardened fans wince. There was no getting up from that. It was raw power, unleashed with perfect timing, and Khan learned that night what it meant to face one of the most dangerous punchers in boxing history. Fast forward 3 years, and Khan was once again standing across from a pound-for-pound great, but this time, it was a different kind of fighter. Terence "Bud" Crawford. A technician. A genius in the ring. Khan, no stranger to speed and skill, thought he was prepared. But from the moment the first bell rang, he realized something: this wasn't just about speed or strategy. Crawford had something else. Something that people often underestimated: power. Khan remembers it well. Every shot Crawford landed had a sting, a force that surprised him. He had sparred with some of the best, had faced knockout artists before, but this was different. Crawford didn't just punch hard, he punched with precision, with a level of intelligence that made every shot count. By the 6th round, Khan was done. Crawford had picked him apart, controlled him, broken him down systematically. It wasn't a one-punch knockout like Canelo, but it was just as devastating. Crawford had proven that he was not just a slick boxer, he was a finisher. Now, here's where things get interesting. When Khan was asked to compare the power of these two legends, he didn't hesitate. He acknowledged what many have refused to see: Crawford hits hard, harder than people give him credit for. And if there's anyone who can tell you that with absolute certainty, it's the man who's been hit by both him and Canelo. Canelo's power is undeniable. It's destructive, fight-ending. But Crawford, he may not have the same raw knockout force, but he has something that makes his power just as dangerous: timing, accuracy, and the ability to make every punch count. Khan believes that Crawford can hurt Canelo. Yes, you heard that right. The man who has stood toe-to-toe with both says that Crawford has enough power to not just trouble Canelo, but to push him back, to make him feel it. And here's the twist: the world is about to see if he's right. The fight is on the horizon. Canelo and Crawford, 2 pound-for-pound kings, set to collide in a mega fight that could change boxing history forever. Canelo, fresh off another dominant run, is preparing for his IBF super middleweight title clash against William Skull, but the shadow of Crawford looms over everything. The question isn't just whether Crawford can take on the bigger man, it's whether his power, his skill, and his mind can dismantle a fighter as dangerous as Canelo. You've been here from the start, and you're about to witness something that could shock the world. We're just getting started, and I promise you, the real story is only beginning to unfold. If you think you know how this fight will go down, think again. The truth is far more electrifying than any prediction, and as we dive deeper into what makes this fight one of the most anticipated showdowns in recent boxing history, you won't want to miss a single moment. Let me know when you're ready for the next part, because what comes next is even more explosive. Now, let's take this deeper. You're still here, which means you want to know the real truth, the kind of truth that makes you rethink everything you believed about power, skill, and what it takes to beat Canelo Alvarez. You've heard Amir Khan's verdict. You've heard him say that Terence Crawford isn't just a slick boxer with elite technique, he's a fighter who carries serious power. But what does that really mean when you step inside the ring with a monster like Canelo? Think about this. When Khan fought Canelo, he knew he was stepping into a fight where he would be the smaller man, the quicker man, the one relying on movement, precision, and speed to avoid getting hit. And for a while, it worked. The world watched as he danced around Canelo, landing shots that made people believe just for a second that he might pull off a miracle. But here's the thing about Canelo Alvarez. He isn't just powerful. He's calculating. He downloads his opponent's movement, studies them, breaks them down, and then he strikes. And when he does, it's not just a punch, it's an execution. That right hand that landed on Khan in the 6th round wasn't just a knockout. It was a warning to anyone daring to challenge Canelo's dominance. It was a statement. That's the kind of power we're talking about. The kind that doesn't just knock you out, but shuts down your body before you even hit the floor. The kind of power that makes opponents hesitate before throwing their next punch, knowing that the moment they miss, it could be over. So how does Terence Crawford fit into this equation? How does a man who has never fought above 147 pounds walk into Canelo's weight class and not just survive, but actually have a chance to win? Let's break it down. Crawford is not just a puncher. He's a thinker. A predator in the ring who figures out his opponent's weaknesses in real time and exploits them. When Khan talks about Crawford's power, he isn't just talking about brute force. He's talking about the way Crawford lands his shots, the way he sets traps, the way his punches don't just hit, but hurt. When Crawford fought Khan, he didn't need one single knockout punch to end the fight. He dismantled him piece by piece, setting up shots, breaking his rhythm, forcing him into a position where he had no way out. That's the difference. Crawford doesn't rely on a one-shot kill like Canelo. He suffocates you, outthinks you, makes you question every move you make. And when you hesitate, that's when he strikes. So now, the ultimate question, can that style work against Canelo? Can Terence Crawford step up in weight and not just compete, but actually hurt Canelo Alvarez? Amir Khan believes so. And if you really think about it, he might be onto something. Crawford doesn't need to have Canelo's level of knockout power to be dangerous. What he needs is enough power to make Canelo respect him. Enough sting in his punches to make the bigger man hesitant, to make him second-guess his attacks, to keep him from walking forward the way he usually does against smaller fighters. And here's the thing, Canelo has struggled with fighters like that before. Think back to his fight against Floyd Mayweather. A smaller man, but a smarter man. Someone who made Canelo miss, who frustrated him, who controlled the pace of the fight with precision and timing. Crawford has that same ability. But here's what makes Crawford even more dangerous. He isn't just defensive. He's aggressive. He fights with the kind of controlled violence that makes opponents crumble. That's why this fight is more than just a size mismatch. It's more than just a battle between a natural super middleweight and a man moving up in weight. This is a fight between two of the most intelligent, most adaptable, most complete fighters in the sport. And if Crawford's power is enough to make Canelo think twice, then we might be looking at one of the biggest upsets in boxing history. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Canelo isn't just going to let that happen. This is a man who has faced the best of the best, who has walked through fire against some of the hardest punchers in the sport and come out on top. He has felt power before, and he has beaten it. Crawford is stepping into dangerous territory, and if he isn't careful, he might find himself on the receiving end of another highlight reel knockout. So where does that leave us? On the edge of something massive. A fight that could redefine legacies. A fight that could prove once and for all whether skill, strategy, and precision can overcome sheer size and power. And when that first bell rings, when Canelo and Crawford finally stand across from each other in the ring, the world will hold its breath, waiting to see if Khan was right, if Crawford really does have what it takes to shake up the boxing world. And when that moment comes, you won't want to miss a single second. Because this is the fight that could change everything. The moment is closing in. You've followed every detail, every insight, every warning from Amir Khan, the man who has taken punches from both Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. You've heard his truth, his brutal experience of being in the ring with two of the most feared fighters in the sport. But now, it's time to look deeper. To see what no one else is willing to talk about. You've heard the predictions. Some say Crawford is too small, that he's stepping into a weight class where he doesn't belong. Others argue that his skill, his adaptability, and his hidden power make him more dangerous than anyone expects. But let's be honest, talk is cheap. The real question, the one you've been waiting for, is this: what happens when these two finally collide? You see, boxing is more than just strength. It's more than power, more than raw aggression. It's a chess match, a battle of minds, a game where the smallest mistake can cost you everything. And that's where Terence Crawford thrives. He is a fighter who doesn't just win, he dominates. He takes apart his opponents, round by round, punch by punch, until there's nothing left of them. But Canelo Alvarez, he is a different kind of beast. A fighter who has walked through fire, who has taken the best shots from men much bigger than Crawford and barely flinched. He has faced knockout artists, relentless brawlers, and tactical masterminds. And he has beaten them all. So what makes anyone think that Crawford will be different? Here's the answer. Crawford is unlike anything Canelo has ever faced. Yes, Canelo has fought technicians before Floyd Mayweather made him look human, made him miss, made him doubt himself. But that was years ago. Canelo has grown, evolved, and become a machine since then. And yet, what Crawford brings is something different. He isn't just defense. He isn't just movement. He is a calculated hunter who knows how to make every punch matter. And this is where the fight gets dangerous. If Crawford has enough power to keep Canelo honest, to make him hesitate before charging forward, everything changes. That hesitation, that moment of doubt, is all Crawford needs. Because unlike other fighters who have faced Canelo, Crawford doesn't just react, he controls the fight. He forces his opponents to fight his fight, to move at his pace, to fall into his traps. And once he has you there, once he has figured you out, it's over. But here's the flip side. If Canelo finds his opening, if he lands one of those shots that have crumbled so many before Crawford, the fight could end in an instant. Canelo doesn't need 10 rounds to break you down. He doesn't need to set up a grand strategy. All he needs is one shot. That's why this fight is so unpredictable. It's not just skill versus power. It's not just the bigger man against the smaller man. It's 2 pound-for-pound kings, 2 fighters who have dominated everyone in front of them, finally standing across from each other in the ring. It's the moment that will define their legacies forever. And you're going to witness history. Because when that bell rings, when Canelo and Crawford finally step forward, all the predictions, all the debates, all the theories, they won't matter. Only the truth will remain. And trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next.